Hey guys, it's your girl Yem and I'm coming to you live from the spot. Welcome to Yem's World. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I've been really blessed by just the encouragement and just some testimonies that people have been sharing me in response to my video. And it's really a huge blessing and an encouragement. So yes, if you saw this video and it blessed you, make sure you share it and encourage others. Be a blessing to others as well. Alright, let's get into this video. Okay, in my last video I talked about the postpartum experience, but I only addressed the emotional side of it. I really didn't talk about the physical side of it. It was painful to say the least. For the first couple days I couldn't walk, and it was just a painful experience. It's not really something that you want to be a part of or you want to experience. It was very painful. The first week or so I really just stayed in my bed. After the first week, the second week I started to move around a little bit, but even when I could walk again, I really couldn't walk that fast, and it probably took me a month or two to even just to kind of get back to where I was. So it was painful, right? But after the first 2 weeks, the throbbing pain really subsided, and then after that it was just being maybe jerking movements and things like that would really kind of set off the pain level. So so that was that, right? So but other than that, after about 3 months or so, I was pretty much back to myself. So after that point, I was just off, taking time with my daughter, bonding and doing all those kinds of things. So we're going month in and month out, and so she turns about 9 months, and I actually have a checkup at the doctor, and so I just a routine exam, and I mentioned during that appointment that I have a little bit of pain, and she says, yeah, let's check it out, we'll do an ultrasound. So they do an ultrasound, and the lady is all typing, the ultrasound tech is typing and she's doing all this stuff, and it's taking so long, and I'm like, why is this ultrasound taking so long? And at some point I thought I heard something beating, and I didn't know what it was, and so I asked the lady, and she's like, oh, that's just your uterus. And I was like, oh, okay, your uterus beats? Okay. All right. So anyway, she continues, she's measuring and click measuring, click measuring. And finally she's like, okay, let's call your husband in. So she calls him in, and she's like, yeah, I was trying to look for the source of your pain that you mentioned, and instead I found a baby. And we're like, oh, baby? Okay. Firstborn's 9 months old, and we're pregnant again. She's like, yeah, you're 6 weeks pregnant. And we're like, wow, that was not what we were expecting. Okay, so at my 6-week postpartum appointment, just backtrack, they said that you had a C-section, so you really need to give your body time to heal. So don't even start trying to have a child before 1 year, right? Well, it takes a full year for that incision point to heal. So don't even try before then. And one thing that I realized is when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, wait, me and my husband never actually discussed what our plans were for the next child. So guys, communication is key. Make sure you talk about these kinds of things, or else you'll have a baby when you only have a 9-month-old, in my case. So so we're shocked and surprised, and we're like, okay, how are we gonna do this? Now, mind you, at this point when I found out, this was literally about 10 days or 10 to 12 days before I was going to be losing my job. And I knew this because they had let us know previously. So I was 6 weeks pregnant, and I was shortly going to be out of a job, and I just felt the timing. I was like, oh Lord, this is not what I want or expected. So but that's just kind of how things went. And so my job ended, and and I was off. I was at home with my daughter, and she was just 9 months. So I said, it's fine. I don't want her to be in daycare before she turns 1 anyway, so I'm just gonna, until she turns 1, I'm just gonna kind of enjoy this time with her. And so I was at home with her, and then when she turned 1, I'm like, okay, it's time for me to start looking for. So at that point, I'm like, it's time for me to start looking for another job. So I start looking, and at this point, so she's 1, I'm almost 5 weeks, or I'm about 4 months pregnant, and I go on LinkedIn, I start applying for jobs, and a recruiter contacts me, and this lady is like, we saw your profile, we think you'd be a good fit, and so we'd love to have a conversation with you. Now, at this point, I'm like, Lord, I'm 4 months pregnant. Yeah. But I was worried, but I'm like, well, Lord, you know what? I just held on to that scripture that said I was young, now I'm old. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread. And I was just like, Lord, you gave me this shout at this particular time. If it was my choice, I probably would have moved things around. But you know what you're doing. And yes, I need a job, and so I'm just gonna hold on to you and know that I'm not gonna beg for bread. So you're gonna provide a job for me, and I'm not gonna beg for bread. And so I just kind of went with that confidence. And to cut a long story short, I ended up getting that position. I ended up getting that job. And it was, that's a whole testimony, that's a whole separate testimony. And I'll share that in another video about what it's like to be laid off and, that whole experience of looking for a new job. I'll share that in another video. But to cut a long story short, I ended up getting that position. And I was even though I was so confident that the Lord would do it for me, I still, at the same time, I was shocked that I ended up getting that position, because I was, at that point, by the time I started the job, I was 6 months pregnant. And so, it just goes to show that the Lord is always, He always has our back. He always has our back. He's always looking out for us. There might be, you might be in a tough situation just like that. Maybe you're, looking for a job, and just things that it's been a long time. Maybe it's been longer than a few months, like my experience. But trust me, the Lord has your back. The Lord's got you. Okay, so in my next video, I'll talk a little bit more about the pregnancy and kind of what that whole experience was like for me, and what it was like to start a job with being 6 months pregnant. So I'll talk about that in my next video, guys. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. And once again, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. I do read the comments, and I do reply. Like I said, they're a great encouragement to me. And share the video. If this has been a blessing to you at all, if my journey has meant anything to you, make sure you share the video with others so you can also bless others. All right, guys, until next time.